Gemma, seeing what happened, we talked earlier, what happened in Pennsylvania today, we saw maybe over 1,000 victims and 300 priests responsible for their molestation. You've been so outspoken about this. You were at Seton Keogh when there was so many distressing things going on there with clergy.
Correct.
When you see something like this come down, is it a victory? But what needs to happen now?
I really had mixed emotions, but first I want to thank you and WMAR for this opportunity, because there are also thousands of clergy survivors in Maryland who need their voices heard, and they know I'll speak up for them. My first reaction, to be honest with you, was an emotional one. I used to be an elementary teacher, and what I was reading really physically made me ill today. But in retrospect, it's not different than what I've been hearing for the last 5 years from survivors of abuse in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. So I saw it as both a challenge for Maryland to be next and to step up, and I did see it as a victory and a first step for those people in Pennsylvania who are looking for justice. I think the Attorney General there, Josh Shapiro, deserves so much credit for sticking with this. It's not an easy battle, and he got in there and he did the right thing. And I think Maryland needs to be next.
Do you think that that's actually possible? And do you think this is a victory not just for the Pennsylvania survivors and the victims of sexual abuse, some of them well into their golden years? Some,
Correct.
I think one was old as in their 80s. Is this a victory for all survivors?
I think it's a victory for those survivors who were impacted in Pennsylvania. I think it's a glimmer of hope for the rest of the survivors. And I think because Maryland is geographically so close to Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, that we really are hoping that our turn will be soon. I implore our Attorney General, Brian Frosh, to start making the steps necessary to do the same thing here in Maryland. It's way overdue. A lot of people are going to be deceased before we see it happen. But for someone who's been abused as a child or even as an adult, their lives are never going to be normal. So I think anything we can do to expose what happened. There was indeed a cover-up with the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and I think some of it continues today. So we really are pounding on the door and asking our lawmakers to help us make this happen.